F of Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act says I cannot be tried in Nigeria. That's the law of Nigeria. I can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says.
Section
not me.
As simple as that.
Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism.
Yes.
Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world at all. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. And it happened in my case. Nobody has, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand. Not with me. I believe in justice and fairness.
Extraditing Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, they didn't pass through the legal means at all. It was illegal, and that one automatically mean that what Nnamdi Kanu was saying is true. That the way they brought him to Nigeria, that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to entertain his case. What do you have to say about this, Master?
The perspective
Chinedu
of reality has come to play on the judicial system in Nigeria, and it is a clear definition that Nigerian judiciary is not independent and will never be independent. From the look of things, he consistently engaged the Nigerian government and the Nigerian judiciary under Binta Nyako clearly, and he stated it very clearly from the beginning that the reality on ground will be unveiled. And on the process, we are seeing it. It came as a big blow to Nigerian government yesterday. And of course, the thing has gone viral all over the world. The top global media houses have reported, what transpired in Kenya and how Kenya were able to break up, Commonwealth treaties that bind the Commonwealth nations. And more of that is that we are expecting the British government to react to that, because Nnamdi Kanu is also a British citizen, and it's an indictment on the side of Nigeria, and it shows how consistent and how real Master Nnamdi Kanu has become. He has never deceived anybody on his stand. He has never moved away from his focus, and that is why everybody is talking about the supreme leader himself, the first supreme leader of Biafran movement, and that has been attached to him. People thought he would have compromised. Nnamdi Kanu would have sold out, as a result of that pressure, coming from there. But you can see, he remained focused, even in the midst of uncertainty. You know what it means to be in the midst of wars, in a nation like Nigeria. It was a very big challenge, and this is a direct signal to the former president of the United States of America, Barack Obama, who came from Kenya, and also the former president of Nigeria, Buhari, Muhammad Buhari, and Malami too, who we are justifying, including Femi Adesina, who we are justifying the illegality, that was done in Kenya by the Nigerian and a certain criminal gang in Kenya, that ganged up, So they have already indicted the Kenyan government because it happened in Kenyan soil. It has never been started anywhere in the world without going through the normal process. And what is the normal process? Interpol has to got involved. Unfortunately, Interpol did not get involved. Right from that day, maybe Nigerians take this Biafra movement just for granted. It's just a lot of people are saying is a social media nation, is this and that. But we can see the advancement everywhere. Right from that day that illegality took place, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was moved to a place, where he was, camped for 8 days before he was hooded back to Nigeria. So you can see the torture, the denial, the inhuman treatment, given to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in conspiracy with Kenyan government. Kenyan government will not say they are not aware, or even if they are not aware, certain people within the Kenyan government under, Uhuru Kenyatta might have compromised, and now it has fall back to them in reality, and they have to bear the consequences of that illegality. They have, in fact, right now, there's a team that has already been set up already, and with the ICC paying attention globally. And I want to say a big congratulations to the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Possibly, this one of the things we are talking about. He might likely be at the background, given the peace he has just made with the Congo, peace deal. They struck a powerful peace deal with Congo, So we don't know where these forces are coming from, to make sure that the real team behind Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is properly unveiled. We don't know. We can be saying we don't know where the pressure is coming from, whether it's an international pressure or whereabout or thereabout. We saw Mazi Nnamdi Kanu even at the suicide level. He defended himself. These are the things we are talking about. Over 28 people were killed in his house. He lost his father, he lost his mother, he lost his freedom to secure the reality on ground. And that is what we are talking about today. Then how come the likes of Buhari, Malami, Minister of Justice, we are justifying illegality in Nigeria?
Minister of Injustice.
I'm telling you, I think it has come to an extent that the world, we are demanding that ICC should get these people arrested for violating the Commonwealth Treaty by Commonwealth Treaty that bounds nations, and the respect to the violation of extradition, treaties entered. So it is not correct at all. So we are seeing this thing clearly, and that has thrown a wider, jubilation all over the world. 85 million, Biafrans all over the world are celebrating in Kenya, in Germany, Russia, America. There's several countries, including Africa, But to my surprise, that it was added and believed that the Kenyan government has signaled that it's likely they're going to be the first or the second or the third, African nation to recognize Biafra as a sovereign nation. So the Biafran quest is spreading legally, and we want to use this opportunity to celebrate the presiding judge, Isi Nwita, and of course the commanding fortified legal team headed by PLO Lumumba, and these are the faces you are seeing here, some of the, the squad that led to the victory we are seeing in Kenya today. And I learned that in DSS too, custody, that the DSS officers, and we are, just celebrating that victory, and there's this atmosphere of festival within Mazi Nnamdi Kanu confinement place in DSS custody. So it has been, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been briefed already, and we are here to continue to watch the development as it unfolds, and now it's left for the Nigerian government, to cover their face in shame.
The judgment has been achieved in Kenya. Do you think that judgment achieved in Kenya can be transferred to Nigeria here, can affect the judgment we are going to get in Nigeria here?
You see, the delegates that are coming from different parts of the world just to observe, like most of them granted interview, those one we saw from UK, those one we saw from US, those who saw, from the Jewish state of Israel, and some of the ones that came from Cameroon and Ghana. You can see that the chief judge of Ghana was there, the one from Cameroon too was also there. He made it very clearly, that he wants to see how Nigeria is going to compromise reality.
That are open to the whole world.
Yes, so they want to see. They are also legal luminaries. They are also sons. They also went through the the law school and all that. And they understand what the international law is talking about when it's come to Commonwealth treaties and all. Rendition or extradition or whatever they call them. They want to see how this thing is going to play out. In Nigeria. Let them see. Whether Nigeria is actually. You see. So that is what we are talking about. It became, an embarrassment. And from this, what we are seeing in Kenya now, I think Omotosho need to be very careful this time around.
Except Nigeria judiciary don't have shame at all. This is except they don't have shame at all. That is why they will be compromised in this case, because the bubble has been burst in Kenya and everybody have seen it. So now let's talk about celebration in the den of DSS. Does it mean these DSS people they are even carrying out assignment that they don't like? But because you are, I don't want to call them zombie, you just have to obey the last order. Is that the scenario?
Yes, and Nnamdi Kanu has, gathered momentum already and within the DSS, and has all created an inch for himself. And right from the days of Bintanyako at this moment, some of them are well read. Some of those DSS they are seeing to. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are professionals in their respective endeavors. So they understand what is actually going on. But you can see that the structure that kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they need to carry out that structure, and they will tell you, they will put it to you, that the order is from above. You know what I mean? And they need to do that. We saw the witnesses that attended Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial. At the end of the day, most of them does not even have, deep information of what they are doing. They only know that they give them clothes at DSS, or they went for a particular mission, or on undercover mission, or the other. And that is all they know. And if you begin to ask them the other side, they say they are carrying out an order, and which most of them don't know, what that order actually, the reaction of that order, as in when it comes to law and the logic. So unfortunately, you can see how they were being messed up, and that is why James Omotosho is easily trashing those things, and was regretting that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been was kept here, just because of some people wanted him to stop the exposure of the Fulani and Islamic agenda in Nigeria, and that is just the basic of it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not detained by law, and that's why he keeps on saying that you do not have the jurisdiction. I was listening to Bintanyako when he was briefing his experience with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the court, and he made it very clearly that, this man is a higher reality. What if somebody like that can say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a higher reality. It means Mazi Nnamdi Kanu understand the international law, and if you go contrary to what is on the ground, he'll question it. So to an extent, I think Bintanyako was, love having him, because he exposes and was able to add a lot of things into her medulla oblongata. But as it stands now, this thing now between the circle of the powers in the DSS, the insiders themselves are, celebrating Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, he has a long queue. People who are trying to, find their way to, get him, brief him, or celebrate with him. But I can tell you, it was a festival in DSS custody.
Before we go, Mr. Chinedu, let's look at this particular perspective. It is obvious that it's like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has even tired of this case, and that's why he assigned a new judge, and it's like federal government want to be neutral on this case. So eventually, if Nnamdi Kanu is being released, I think there will be a controversial, perspective. Does it going to mean that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is being compelled with the circumstances, or he just felt like, let this guy go? Because of, okay, now if Nnamdi Kanu is being released, of course it will be too, damning or very funny for Nigeria government to continue to be compromised after what we have been hearing for Kenya. Does it mean that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not have choice but to release Nnamdi Kanu?
The reality on ground is that the North does not want Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, given what the Arewa youth leader was saying. That if you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, then we'll put you on the radar. So and he was careful too. And from what we got, according to Sowore, there was certain gentleman understanding between Buhari and Tinubu on the Nnamdi Kanu factor. That's the reality. Nobody nobody is going to tell me that, But having seen the handwriting on the wall, Parliament Tinubu now decided, that because every other judge that's been called upon to try Nnamdi Kanu declined. They don't want to, because they know that at the end of the day they're going to tarnish their image. And most of them, have built a career of reputability, over time, and coming to soil their hands because of, this agenda. Because what is trying Nnamdi Kanu there is agenda. Agreed. That's the thing, So it's becoming an embarrassment, to the Parliament Tinubu. Had I known, why would Buhari in the first place? Okay, nobody did not. There's pressure on him not to even go to that extent, and that's why he decided. Since there's no judge, who want to get involved on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial, they now brought somebody.
I can get you one.
James Motosho, and say, I will take up the case, and let the Northerners go to hell, if actually that is what James Motosho actually mean. And you can see, to an extent now, a proper trial resumed, public, to the public glare. People are seeing developments in the court on daily basis, and so far so good. Nnamdi Kanu has successfully, shut down the charges against him, and that has been acknowledged by James Motosho, and it's victory for both the name of presiding judge James Motosho for now, and of course victory for the IPOB leader himself, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has become law and order. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has become, I keep on saying it and I keep on repeating it, we don't have any governor in the southeast. There's no governor in this. All these governors you are seeing, are tailored, stitched, pressed by the Fulanis.
So eventually, as you are going, irrespective of whatever people's perspective about the releasing of Nnamdi Kanu, whether it is Tinubu doing or Tinubu is being compelled, all what I see is that if Tinubu want to do it, he has enough justification now to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whether or not like it or not.
Okay, definitely correct, because it will become a reference point.
Yes.
Even in the court,
yes.
And it will become a launching point, of demand for justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That if Kenyan government can actually do this, then what happened to Nigerian government in the first place, and that's why I say congratulations to the fortified legal team in Kenya. They are led by PLO Lumumba.